One of the most important parts of any school's climate and culture is the way that it handles discipline. Punitive and exclusionary approaches to discipline can be detrimental to students and undermine school-wide SEL implementation. Schools that are committed to systematically integrating social and emotional learning practices use a student-centered approach known as supportive discipline.
A supportive discipline says that everyone in the building is together for the purposes of learning, and that we would do everything in our power to make sure that people remain in learning conditions as opposed to being removed from them. With social and emotional learning, if we're looking at disciplinary practices, we also recognize that the environment, both physical and policy, rules, climate, and so forth, play a significant role in what choices are available for that behavior.
When we think about discipline policies, we want to use these opportunities to help our students learn and grow. These are prime opportunities for reflection, for perspective taking, for problem solving, for relationship building, to think about ways that we can repair the harm that we've caused and how can we avoid these situations in the future. There's so much social and emotional learning opportunity for growth during these incidents that we want to create policies that help us to do that.
In a school with a supportive disciplinary model, students are no longer simply punished for wrongdoing. They learn to understand how their actions impact others and how to work with others to solve conflicts. While the form and style of student-centered discipline will vary in each district, one model that's being widely adopted is that of restorative practices or restorative justice, which focuses on repairing the harm done to people. Restorative approaches are all about building community and strengthening relationships. One district practicing this form is Huber Heights City Schools, just north of Dayton, Ohio.
Ultimately, the goal is for students to understand how to be successful, not just in school, but in life. And in order to do that, they need to understand how their actions impact someone else, how when they make a mistake, there is an opportunity to restore the balance. Sometimes schools don't give that option. We are not always good at allowing for those conversations and for allowing students to kind of make up and restore what was lost.
For Huber Heights, preparing to adopt and implement supportive discipline and restorative practices has been a journey of small steps. One of those small steps helps lay the groundwork for supportive discipline by creating a sense of community.
One of the biggest things that has helped our school the most this year is every teacher, and we're a K-6 building, is conducting morning circles. Through that, the kids are talking and they're sharing.
Beyond building self-awareness and empathy amongst the students in the district, teachers find that rather than robbing them of instructional time, it allows them to clear the air before the day starts, creating a better climate and purpose for the learning ahead.
They come in and they know the first thing we're going to talk about is how are we feeling? We're going to get in that circle, whether it's a formal circle or it's just a pop around or passing a talking stick. They know that the first thing I get to do after I put things up is have breakfast and have conversations. I think that makes a huge difference in a child when they come through the door. It's not just, okay, get your work, get started, we gotta go, we gotta move. People are learning how to slow down so they know the first chance in the morning they get to come in and regulate.
While these practices help preempt some behavioral issues, it doesn't mitigate all of them. With more severe infractions, restorative circles or small conferences are used instead of immediate punishment.
The teachers will write referrals, and in the past, we would look at those referrals and then decide what a consequence would be. You know, is it going to be a detention? Is it going to be in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension? But now when those referrals come in, my first thought is a circle. We probably do 3 to 4 disciplinary circles a week. You know, that's a skill, and it's a skill that our kids, they don't know until we start teaching them how to do this.
It's just all about educating yourself and being willing to put in the time. It does take a lot of time, but when you see those kids light up and do better, and they're happy that they know it, like, oh, I was always that kid that was in trouble, I'm not anymore, it gives you that to keep going.
At the junior high and high school levels, the implementation of supportive discipline and restorative practices looks slightly different, but the impact has been big for staff and students alike. For each school, the staff has been trained in restorative practices, but they also get the benefit of having the assistance of a full-time restorative guide.
We do circles on Monday and Friday, check-in circles with the kids, restorative, we call them community circles, so that teachers can talk to kids and ask, how was your weekend? What's going on? And then they also work on academic things during that period. So it becomes another layer of communicating, collaborating, listening to kids, filling that social emotional piece. And so that has been really, really helpful in that way. And then I also provide to the staff an opportunity for restorative circles if necessary. One of the things we've done is we've slowed down a little bit, taken the time to hear kids, give them a voice. And I think so many of the things that we are doing gives kids a voice to let us know what's happening in their world besides just the academic piece.
Incorporating restorative practice into the school doesn't mean completely removing consequences for students, but now there are multiple layers and more chances to preempt dysregulated behavior or to intervene in a way that gives respect to everyone involved.
So it said that this was working. I worked with students that had an issue with someone. They knocked on my door a couple weeks ago and said, something happened with a friend of mine. Do you mind if we come in and talk? And she brought her friend in and she said, we can talk to her and work it out because I did it with my friend a couple months ago. So they're seeing that they have these other options, how to solve their problems, that they can work these things out, and that they're taking the responsibility or the initiative to figure it out themselves and to seek out the help. And I go, wow, I am making a difference.
The best way for things to work properly or see positive in it, you do the initial circle or mediation, then you follow up. That's the key. Follow up, making sure both sides are still okay, or make sure the situation is assessed and good. You just don't do it one time and expect for somebody just to get it or adjust to it. You kind of got to be constant with it so kids know, okay, I can get used to doing this, or it's something that I want to get used to doing.
Most students that do things bad in school, they're not really doing it because they want to. Most oftentimes, more than not, it's something that they're dealing with that they don't know the solutions to. And they just want somebody to care. They want somebody to recognize what's going on. And when you have somebody like Mr. Alexander or anybody else that's around the school that actually recognize the problems and can, help in any way possible, it lets them know that they care. And when you have somebody that cares when you're going through a tough time, it's really, really powerful.
It's a very low rate where I can say that I had a mediation with kids and then they turn around and still fight, Kind of let them know there's other ways to solve issues with peers or whoever else, It's not always about fighting and harming one another.
Mr. Alexander, I first met him in the beginning of the year because I had an issue with this particular girl, and I've actually never done that before. I had a sit-down conversation with the person I'm having issues with, and I was very nervous, actually. I was like, are you sure we should do this? But honestly, I think it helped more because it was face-to-face and we handled it right then and there. It helps us be more independent with things and how to resolve problems, because we're going to grow up and be in a work field where there is no really counselor or anyone to talk it out. And I feel like it gives us more of an opportunity to be adults and handle things the right way and maturely.
Just like any new process, supportive and student-centered disciplinary approaches take time and staff buy-in to fully realize their potential. And of course, there will be those that disagree altogether.
So when folks are questioning these practices, I try to walk them through examples and also point to opportunities that they've had in their life to restore the balance.
As we've seen, this part of systemic SEL implementation, revisiting and revising disciplinary approaches, can take a restorative form or even one unique to your own school setting. But when it's implemented correctly, it can have positive benefits for everyone involved.
By having discipline policies that promote growth and reflection and problem solving, we're not just setting up our students so that they're less likely to repeat those incidents, but that they are more likely to be successful outside of school and in life.